We got Victoria Everest wrongly accusing people of rape, and we have Tim Westwood getting charged with 4 counts of rape and denying the charges. What are your thoughts around that?
First of all, I did a video that went viral about that girl, Victoria Everest, and I said she's a dirty dog. Yeah, first of all, dirty dog, yeah. But I don't know, I feel like with Tim Westwood, yeah, I just feel like since I was young, I was hearing stuff. Like, if I'm honest. So, I can only go by a personal, you get me, from my personal point of view. Since I was younger, I've been hearing stuff. So, I just feel like maybe people are kind of just coming forward now. And I feel like from behaviours that have been shown, I've seen clips of certain things and I've just like heard of things that make me feel like it is possible, but at the same time, until evidence has been put forward in court and the man has been proper, like, you know, sentenced, you are guilty, then I cannot say that somebody has done something. So, yeah, it's a bit mad.
I respect that.
But Victoria Everest is a dirty dog.
I already have issues about social media being used to get fame, especially about stupidness like this. And to see a woman, I mean, it's the honest truth, to see a woman talking like that makes me even sicker. Victoria, she she talks rubbish. What she's done, she says is not true, and she said that interview was done, or that chat was done 10 years ago, and it does. Yeah, she was exposed, and then she's lying.
About how she responded to
yeah, one, how she responded, and two, obviously what she said. Hearing a woman speak like that is disgusting. I understand why men sometimes act the way they act because of women like that. So that really makes me very sick. And in regards to him, I don't really know what's the truth. But anybody that uses social media in general is just more people like that need to be exposed, and they just need to keep their mouth shut and just take responsibility for the things that they've done and the story, and they need to go to therapy. Those really need to go to therapy.
I think, obviously, we don't know until all the details come out and it goes through court, but I reckon that Tim Westwood is a techer man still. I reckon he's a techer man still, because he's coming from that era, like, you know, like there seems to be in the media now, yeah, a lot of the 90s, a lot of men in the music industry or the media industry from, you know, back in, say, 30 years ago, there's all of these things coming out of them, like what's happened with the Diddy case and Cassie and and I think that them men are kind of coming from a time where you would kind of leverage your influence and power and money to lure women close to you and exploit women that are kind of like thirsty, do you know what I'm saying? So I think Westwood, certain times I'm even in my hood in South London and like Westwood's coming down to put on a rave in a place like this, and I'm like, what's he coming for? A black girl, blatantly. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that ways is that I think that his type of woman that he likes to be with don't really like him back, and do you know what I mean? I think that there's a bit of friction between what he wants and what they want, and I just think that there's probably been a lot of murky water in the middle. So yeah, that's what I think about Miss Westwood, but obviously we wait to see what comes out. And then I think with Victoria Everest, yeah, she's just blatantly guilty, and she's just dog shit. That's who she is as a person, yeah. I'm not gonna cap. She's just dog shit, yeah. But my thing is like I've been very interested to see the way that there's been a lot of apathy on social media, yeah. Like so, like there's not been there's half of an uproar, and then there's half of women just letting it slide and not kind of like getting mad about it. And I just think that the lack of uproar from a lot of women, yeah, is showing the fatigue that I think a lot of women have got, like within the community. Like they don't feel empathetic towards a lot of man's issues because men aren't making noise about theirs. So that's what I think about that still. It's weird.
Mr. Westwood is in the court of law, so I don't talk on things that are in courts. Let the courts make their opinion. Like social media, yeah, everyone can throw their opinion around, everyone can get monetized or sharing their opinions, but at the end of the day, it's in court. So let the judges who are paid to make a decision about someone who's been charged with something make their decision. Regarding Victoria Everest, she was allegedly a victim of what has happened. So I think that outroar is very different. The reason why there's multiple complexes is because people say that you should always believe the victim and what the victim is saying. So if someone is alleging that they've been raped or they've been there's been violence or whatever it may be, people are supposed to believe what that victim is allegedly saying. Unfortunately, it's come to light many years later that she has maybe allegedly told something that wasn't to be true. I don't think the outcry can be the same because she's not the alleged perpetrator, she's a victim, allegedly. And I have to use the words allegedly because none of us are there. None of us were in the room, we don't know what happened. So at the end of the day, if me and so-and-so, me and you for instance, are in the room together, it's my word against your word. No one else was there, no one else was present. It's only when evidence, camera footage, video footage, whatever comes to light, that we can actually have an opinion and say, actually, yeah, I saw shells put my hands on you, and then actually you retaliated in self-defense. So I think sometimes social media, we do a lot of outcry and everyone makes noise before we actually see the evidence. If the evidence isn't there, it's very difficult to have an opinion on what's being said. However, I understand that she was seen, she's alleging that it was manipulated. We'll never know because we weren't there at the end of the day. And everyone's going to have an opinion on that situation. Is it good to lie? Absolutely not. We know that lying is wrong. We shouldn't lie. Do many women get away with it? Yes. I had a view on this situation, and I said, and I will say, because I have said it on social media, because she's of a certain caliber, she was able to get away with that behaviour. And that's where I put it back to men. People say, oh, you're victim blaming, but it's not victim blaming. Because of how society is structured, certain women can get away with certain things, and that's just the bottom line. You can go to the clubs, you can see it, certain women get on tables, certain women don't. And that's because of their privilege. Yeah, so if you look at how she looks, how she's built, whether she's got a BBL or not, whatever you want to say, that's your opinion. But for the for most men, they would deem her, no, for most men, the average man, because of what's come to light now, but because of the average man's opinion, she portrays herself in a certain way. I never heard of this girl before this whole scandal came across. Like, I know people who follow her, whatever, because she's on a fitness journey, blah 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 blah. But the long and short of it is, she looks a certain way, certain men will find her attractive, and certain men will allow her certain privileges within society, and that's just how society goes. It's just as simple as that. If she was not deemed universally attractive, she may not be able to be in certain spaces with certain men, hence why she will not be able to say certain things. Just as my opinion. But like I said, wrong is wrong, right is right. And she should be held accountable for what she does. Unfortunately, the way the system works is that anyone can make an allegation against anyone, and actually it has to be deemed within the public's best interest to actually pursue it in the public court of law. So if it's not in the public's best interest, why is anyone going to hold her accountable for her actions? It's not in the public's interest. She hasn't done anything to the public for anyone to hold her accountable.
But young Philly's getting strung up.
No, young Philly situation, you're throwing a different spanner in a different works. An allegation was made against young Philly, yeah, in a different country, yeah, and he was the alleged perpetrator of that alleged offence. So now he has to face the consequences of the allegations brought against him. My point being is, people that make allegations, I can go out now and say that you punched me in my face. Do you get what I mean? It's an allegation, and the court of law will have to investigate that allegation until it's proven guilty or not guilty, and that's why I don't comment on these things.
So people don't get in trouble for lying though?
People,
she just got cautioned for lying.
No, there's perjury, there's all of these things, perverting the court of justice, 100%. I'm not saying that these things don't exist, but anyone can make an allegation. We can all make allegations against each other, and because no one's physically in the room, it's one word versus another word. Yeah, one word versus another word. We can't actually say, yeah, that girl shit or da-da-da. None of us were there. When she was fucking that man, no one was there in the room. So we cannot say she wasn't raped. She may have been raped once, and then after that she said yes, but then the next time she said no. No is no, so we don't actually know. So I wouldn't sit there and say she's making up stuff or whatever. That's it. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Did she say in the video? Didn't she say in the
but
video?
allegedly she's saying it was manipulated. So again, none of us were there. None of us were there. The 4K is there, but again, this is going to be manipulated in a certain way. You're not going to see the full context of what I've said. You're only going to see some of the clickbait and some of the certain things that I've said. It's not the full context of the conversation. So people are going to have an opinion based on what I'm saying, but it's only 5 seconds. It's not the whole 20 seconds of what I've said. On top of that, there's context, there's a lot of that. I can't sit here and say, yeah, she's a liar. I don't know her. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. I can't say.
Anybody that's on social media empowering and trying to set up an example, if it's not in fitness, if it's not in food, this woman was trying to set an example for the way her lifestyle, being a pureness and being this clean soul. And clearly, as much as you're saying that this was manipulated, she clearly said, I'm doing this so I can get back to him. End of the story. So as much as people want to say they're manipulating that content, you cannot manipulate a 7-minute conversation that was actually being exposed on social media, not just on Instagram on the short clip. This woman is conniving, is vicious, she's weird, she's a liar, and she's not, and to be listening to a woman like this, that is a disgrace for women, full stop. Because this is the reason why certain things are as they are. Men don't trust women the way they should, and this is the reason why we need to really get to protect. Whatever is wrong, like you're saying, what's right is right. There is no way, at no point, this woman, at any point, I can't even call her a woman, this female has said, I doing this to get back to him.
How many women in there have got sons? Has anyone got sons in here? Alright, so how do you plan, to protect your son from getting hit with an allegation like that? Because all of your sons are going to want to lay down with women, whether they're doing it now. Yeah.
I actually had this conversation with my son today, My son is 13 and he is working hard to be signed by an academy because he plays football. So I was having a chat with him today and I was saying to him, you see, when you're older and you are in a certain position, there's certain people who will try their best to take you out of that position, So I've had to explain to him today that not everything is how it seems. And he has to be extremely careful when it comes to women in particular. That's what I said to him. And he was like, but mum, what if I think that the girl likes me? Basically, because genuinely, a man might feel like this girl likes him. You're never gonna know, but you have to have your wits about you, and you have to be a good judge of character.
He's gonna know when she's taking off her drawers. He's gonna know. He's gonna be certain.
Listen.
She likes me because she's taking her drawers off.
But the point is,
so what happened? What did he do in that situation?
But this is the thing. You have to listen. Somebody said that basically the type of woman, that she is, maybe like ZZ Mills said, men have to use their knowledge, and decide which type of woman they should be giving their time to. Like, let's not beat around the bush. There are certain girls that act a certain way and move a certain way, and you cannot expect anything less than certain girls. It's as simple as that. So you have to kind of just read the situation, get to know the person, and just don't be flinging off your pants to every girl that you come across.
I think it's difficult because it runs back to the first point that we kind of made, about like, should you be with your partner for money or whatever. So just looking at that, so that is very, like, if you're circling back to the whole, like, and linking everything together, that's important. But for young sons and young boys, like, they're never gonna know because it's difficult because the way the law works is always gonna work in favor of the alleged victim, and that's all I'm saying on that. It's always going to be in that favour. So he could have been a baller, but by mere virtue of association, he's in that room and he's in that space at that time. and he's now guilty, and then because social media exists and we all have an opinion and everyone's writing up in comments and podcasters and influencers, everyone's chatting about it, it's like, they're guilty, but actually let them go through the process. I think having a son,
Process is what kills man.
No, you can die in the, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the long and short of it is, hold on, we also had the thing about your choices and decisions. At the end of the day, my son has made a decision to be in a certain space at a specific time. We all know that you should keep certain friends, don't keep certain friends. If your all of friends are going out to the club and they're staying up until 4 a.m, having girls on the table, doing this, popping bottles, what is the likelihood of something happening? I'm not saying it is going to happen, but what is the likelihood? There's a possibility that something could happen.
What's the safest situation?
Just go to your bed. Go yard. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. No. Go home. Go home. It's go home. Go home. Go home.
Hold on, Hunt.
Be a nerd. Be a nerd.
No, I'm saying.
Basically, the game and you'll be alright.
No, you have to go home. Seriously, like seriously, like if you want to protect yourself and your energy, and you don't want to be accused of certain things, and you don't want to whatever. If I'm flocking with men that are selling drugs, like the likelihood of the feds stopping me is that, oh yeah, she got caught, she was with them, so she's a part of that. If you're not with them and you're not with, no, I'm just giving you an example. No, okay. No, but it is if it's under consent. If it's not with consent, so it can be illegal.
You know that, but
okay, if it's under the age of 16, it is illegal. So there's various remits. There's various remits as to whether those things are thingy. And if there's grey areas, 9 times out of 10, we know we shouldn't be in those scenarios, but we still put ourselves there, and we're there, and we have to bear the buck of the consequences, and that's life.
He is so nerdy. He ain't ready to date. We talk about everything and anything. And I say, you gonna get a girlfriend? He's like, nah. His friends got a girlfriend, he said, don't be with that girl. He's in year 8. So he's not ready to go out there and date. We talk about everything and anything. From sex to women to everything. And he ain't ready. So he loves reading. So if you love to read, he loves to stay in his house and read. And play computer games. And sometimes...
So when he wakes up and he says, alright mum, I'm ready to start flinging seed. What are you? How are you gonna tell him?
What seed?
Because he's 13 years old. He's a kid. He's not even legally allowed to do it. But what I'm trying to say is, when he wakes up and he's like, "Mum, you know, I'm done with this book thing. I want gal, yeah." And basically, I've got this urge inside of me to get active, and plus, women also want to get active with me. How do you tell him now? Alright, cool. This is how you do it. And avoid a situation like Victoria Everest, where a woman's gonna consensually give it to you and then retroactively revert consent and take it away and go to the police about you.
Well, what I've taught you, you better use that in action. What I've taught you, be smart. Don't look at that girl. Look at her like she's a sister or your cousin.
Yeah.
Do what you think is right. Don't do the things where, oh yeah, she's hot. Yeah, that girl's hot, let me swing my seed. No, don't do them things. Because swinging your seed causes babies. And my child's selfish. He's a very selfish child. He ain't sharing nothing, he's the only child. He lives a certain lifestyle.
I don't think you have the answers. She ain't got the answers. And this is what's scaring me about young black boys growing up in the world, you know. Even their mum, who's raising them in the yard, don't have the answers, you know. It's scary.
The truth of the matter is, I feel like even black men don't have the answers themselves.
No,
I feel like the truth. No.
Yeah, because he had
you got an answer.
Do your thing first and I'll talk
No, if you've got an answer.
No, say your answers first.
Because me, I'm just gonna speak. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna speak about it because I don't have an answer, but I can tell you what I would do.
Okay.
What's your answer?
Okay, I heard someone over there say make them sign a contract, yeah? That don't work, innit? Because we spoke about consent, and it could be a thing where she signed a contract and then just before she said no. Yeah? Cool, so that don't work anymore, yeah? Now, me personally, I feel like the best way to deal with things like this is by creating a different scenario. So let's say, for instance, alright, cool, hypothetically I've got a son. My son comes to me, he's like, I want to start doing this, I want to start doing that. Okay, now, if he's in those types of rooms where he could be laying down with girl and doing certain things, I'm not doing my job properly as a 13-year-old boy. You shouldn't be
let's
doing
go up
that.
18.
No,
18. Forget 13.
18.
Let's go up.
18.
Yeah,
18. That's fine. Let's talk about 18. Let's talk about 18. That's fine. We can even still talk about 18, bro. Bro, we can even still talk about 18. At 18, what do you have to show me for your life? What have you done with yourself? Because I think the best thing to do is to, I think the best thing to do is avoid that stuff by being in the right spaces. I feel like people who put themselves in the wrong spaces constantly, if my son is someone who is very intelligent and he went here and learnt this thing and learnt that and whatever, but I still let him go out and chill with Marcus down the road who's busting guns and doing this and doing that, and he's doing this with this girl and doing that, I can't stop my son from doing what he wants to do, but what I can do is encourage him to do what's best for him.
So what if you send him to DMU?
Go on.
University. What if he goes to uni?
Alright, he goes
and
to
he's doing
uni.
something smart
Yeah.
and productive, but at night time,
Yeah.
women want to bust it.
Okay, but what you need to
What then?
realize is that I'm not saying that you don't find these women in those types of situations, because you do, but it's less of a chance, because those people are also working on themselves at a higher level, so they're working towards something, so they've got more to lose.
But look what Victoria Everest is
She's
working on
rubbish,
herself.
but she's rubbish.
But she's got a career.
Alright, but watch this. Let me
She won't know any guy from down the road, you know.
I'm gonna say something, yeah, that might make a couple eyebrows raise, and that's fine, yeah. I don't know this girl. I don't like her based on what has happened, yeah, based on what I've seen. But what I can tell you is that at what point do we actually accept that people can actually work on themselves and be better people? If that happened 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever, who's to say that this journey that she's on, fasting and doing this and working on her spirituality? No, I'm not saying that she didn't do what she did. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that he's using her as a weapon, yeah? But I'm trying to show you that you're using her as a weapon. You're holding her at a certain level by saying, but she was someone who...
Yeah, we can move her out of the way. Let's move her out of the way then.
please,
Let's move her out of the way. But what I'm trying to focus on is beyond her, there's other women here that are going to run the same game on you lot's sons, innit?
Yeah, but
So
the statement you made just now is this young lady said her youth's 13, and you dismissed that and went to 18. It starts at 13.
It starts young. It starts young.
And that's true. That's true.
You're very right.
That's true, because me and Shante was feeling each other up in year 9, so I agree, yeah. No, but what I'm trying to say is, but this lady, it's not just the 13. This lady said she gave the context of her son not being interested in women and him being a nerd. But what I'm trying to say is, when he wakes up at 14, 15, 16, 17, at a certain age, he's gonna wake up and be like, Mum, I got my eye right, me. You understand? And then it's gonna change to where you need to give him some advice on how to stay safe from rape accusations.
Yeah, but my point is that advice starts, even though he's nerdy,
It
those
starts-
conversations
start
start
now.
from 13.
I feel like rape allegations start from people.
And we're not finding the answers in the room. That's what I'm saying.
You're coming from a place, bro. You're talking from a place, yeah, of a boy that wants to run rap or wants to run wild. But what about?
Not anymore, but I did.
What about somebody
And
who
I had
was
9
raised?
lives. God just saved me. But I'm saying, in all that, no.
What about a young boy?
I
who
did. I
raised-
was running road, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that luckily I just bumped into women that didn't have no malicious intent.
So what is your
What is the answer? The children are starting from young. It's starting, the children are
He
starting
really said
from...
there's not an
Me
answer.
personally, no, I didn't say that. My answer is, yeah, I've been petting to say it because it's a bit raw, but you see me, yeah, I've got a girlfriend from Peckham, yeah, who every time we do this thing, she likes it to be on camera. Do you understand? And I'm not gonna lie, that's the safest situation that way you can. I'm sorry.
Alright, Huntsman, 1 second. Advocates, 1
Pam,
second.
pam. But basically, you see Diddy, yeah, you see this chart. No, can I just say this last point? What I'm trying to say, look. Hey, look, I'm just trying to say, yeah. Did you pay attention to Diddy's trial? I watched the whole trial every single day, yeah. And I noticed the part that his defense used to reduce all the accusations was about an hour and a half of visual content that the whole jury had to sit down and watch. So if he didn't have that footage, yeah, of Cassie doing all sorts and smiling and laughing and enjoying it and pulling the man close to her and all of that, he might have been in jail for a long time. But the footage is what saved him. That's what I'm genuinely, I'm not gonna lie. Say that again? I've always been happy with recording that. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not gonna lie. But what I'm trying to say is if my girlfriend from Peckham turned around and was like, no, you know what, he forcefully done that, then I'll just be like, no, that, not yet, no.
Alright. Hold on. We have another person over. 1 second, you guys. You lot are playing tennis again. Don't do that. Yeah? You got a long drive home together. Do it.
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah? Oh, you. Okay, look. I want to speak to this lady here. Alright? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Just for context, I am a mum and I have a son. I think it's really about installing, like, the idea of what a healthy relationship is. A healthy relationship within yourself. So you've got to respect yourself. I'm already installing in my son that in my mind, you walk like a king, innit? So you behave like one. You don't just fling things out, excuse the pun, willy-nilly. Like, you have power in that. Like, the most powerful thing to do, and in all honesty, like, if you really want to drive the woman insane, is to say no and have that element of discernment. I do want my son to be with a woman. I do want him to procreate, but I want him to do it in stages. I want him to have a healthy relationship with women, know how to be around women, know how to speak to women, listen to women is really important, and also watch their movements. Women, we kind of give the game away to a certain extent in terms of what we say and how we move. And if you can't pick up on those signs, there's very obvious signs. So a lot of black women are, it's not that we don't have empathy for men who are put in a situation like that Victoria lady, but a lot of us can see it from a mile off.
I love the way that this lady, sorry I didn't catch her name, the way she was saying, the way she's protecting her son, teaching the stages of how to treat a woman, listen to her. Also pay attention to the way the women are moving. What's the relationship with the parents? Do they have a mom present? Do they have a father present? Do they have any kids? What's their relationships? And just pay attention to that, because that little circle, her social circle, her family circle, is what's going to give you a lot of clues. If she hasn't got a good relationship with the father and with the mother, you have a problem. So that's something to pay attention to. I just wanted to say that.
Can I say something quickly? Because the questions were posed there, you were talking about, you need to revert back to your questioning, yeah? Because you spoke about Tim Westwood, that's a man. And then you spoke about Victoria Everest being the alleged, the victim of abuse perpetrated by a man. So that's why I think the room has now circled back on men and discussed why men act in a certain way. If we want to talk about daughters, we can talk about daughters all day long. But I feel like society already places a lens on women, black women in particular, about their standards, how they're supposed to portray themselves, how they should act in society, move in the workplace, so on and so forth. I think that there's a lot of, it's long. We could be here all day and we can go back and forth about it. But if you're a parent, I think the most you can do is have the conversations with your children from as early as possible about the opposite sex. Like, don't touch me, this is my personal space, that's your personal space. We respect each other's personal spaces. And then moving on when it's like, obviously age appropriate to talk about intimacy, what that looks like. I think in the black community, black young girls are told to keep their legs closed and don't be dating. But then how comes we're the highest number of single mothers in comparison to our counterparts? And then black men maybe are told actually to go and procreate, have loads of kids everywhere, you know, that's your seed, that's your lineage, like keep the surname going, whatever. But then actually you're creating a lot of broken homes. And then what we're looking at is a system that actually benefits from the black people being in a certain way. And I don't want to take it away from, you know, other families, because there are multifaceted stuff that's going on in society that we can't actually put it down to. So at the end of the day, we just need to speak to our young girls, we need to speak to our young boys, and we need to have those open, transparent conversations, and they should never be closeted. Like, your child should be able to come and tell you anything they're going through. You should be their first friend. Like, yes, we need to tell them off, yes, we need to put the boundaries in place, but at the end of the day, they learn from us.
I liked what you said, because I agree. I also believe that a man and woman should be in a home together with the child, because the only way how a son is going to know how to treat a woman is the way how you treat his mother, and vice versa. A daughter isn't going to know how a man's supposed to treat her because of she's looking at how her mum gets treated by any male that's in the house, which is her father. So that's very important. When it comes to your son being put in certain positions, first of all, you've got to teach him to love himself and respect his body, right? And respect all those other energies and spirits which every time you sleep with people can also be in your system. You also have to teach your children as well that if you see a girl that's a little bit intoxicated, right? And you're saying like, oh, I'm gonna drop her home to make sure she's okay. Listen, let me tell you something. Make sure you take pictures of that girl walking through the front door. Yeah?
See,
right?
See what I said?
Make
Cameron.
sure you
Cameron?
have proof that she's gone through that front door, the door is closed, and you're saying, I have left, and she's gone through the front door, and she's safe, done.